So IGN has given their first, well, I wouldn't say it's their first 10 out of 10, but they've finally given a game a 10 out of 10. A game that I think was like revealed in some game showcase, but I've completely forgot about it. So I was like, okay, this probably isn't a game for me. And again, since then, I have never heard about this game at all. And you gotta ask the question, right? Like, what is a 10 out of 10 game? And people will throw the word subjectivity around like, oh, it's subjective. But no, I think there's a level of objectivity there. It's like, okay, a 10 out of 10 game, like Overwatch, Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft, Counter-Strike. Hell, I'd even say Fortnite. And it's like, what are these games? Well, these games defined a genre. Like, they were so impactful that others try to replicate, like the first Resident Evil, right? Like, you're trying to replicate, like Titanfall 2. People want it, it gets replicated over and over, it defines a genre. Like, it, every time you talk about this company, you refer to their game, to this game. Like, if you talk about Blizzard, like, the idea of these games hits your head, right? And that, I think we've entered this age where companies don't want to make games. Like, they don't want to make artistic stories. They want to make content, like a content creator. And it's like, what do you mean by content? Well, they want to, be safe. They don't want to step on people's toes. They don't want activists to go after them. They don't want, game journalists to go after them. They have to use the same fucking name, the same fucking IPs over and over. They can't branch out. They can't make anything new. They have to fillet, their actors. They have to use the same 5 actors that are juggled around every studio. They can't have new actors, or if they do, they're in minor roles. And this just seems content brained. Like, that doesn't seem like, and again, it's that thing in movies. Well, it's the same way in like any level of entertainment, TV shows, games. And it's a cutthroat because they want it to be cutthroat. Like, they want it to be like this club of people that are allowed to be artistic. The problem is things like AI throws a wrench in that, and for good reason. I mean, there will be this age where people will turn to AI things just to spite the content-brained people, this content-brained industry. And what games are 10 out of 10s that came out? Like, to me personally, like Stellar Blade, Goddess of Victory, Nikkei. Hell, I'd even say Pragmata. Small contained stories that you can tell just don't really care for what the people would call the modern agenda, the message, the thing, that thing, people they just try to tell a story, and it will piss people. I don't know why Pragmata pissed people off, but for some reason it does. Because you have the people that want the content. They don't want games like Pragmata because they're Zoomers and they ask all these stupid fucking questions that don't pertain to anything. So let's give this bad boy a watch. I mean, I'm just looking at the art style and not a fan. Let's give it a watch. And this game was okay. Like, the first Life is Strange was fine. I mean, because it tried telling just a story of someone that, you know, has these weird fucking powers. But games like these, it's like, what do you think the demographic of games like this, where you play, I'm assuming, a teenage girl in her teens, probably in high school, and it's probably like a walking simulator. What is, like, I'm saying the majority of gamers or of the market is not going to care for this game, and that's fine. Right? That's okay. But does this define a generation of games? Or is this, again, just trying to be Life is Strange or other walking simulators? They just has a thing that just points out to this guy. The fuck? Oh yeah, I mean, you're a corny little teenager, right? I mean, that's fine. And again, though the dialogue is heavy, that wasn't really the point. I mean, Life is Strange, to my knowledge, I guess the point was the choices. I mean, I didn't care for Life is Strange all that much, but it's clear that, again, he's drawing the comparison to Life is Strange. So now I'm drawing the comparison to Life is Strange. And again, are these really the type of games that gamers play? Like, maybe like these walking simulators that play themselves. That they're effectively books, only they have visuals, which I guess in like visual novels is fine, but he would never consider this a visual novel, even though it's kind of what it is. Yeah, but do I want to play a music video or do I want to play a game? And this is also the thing, right? Nowadays, games don't know what the forgot the fact that they're video games. It's like, I want some level of interaction. I want to be challenged, right? And I am that person that the challenge is part of the game, which is why it pisses me off that games like Pragmata and Stellar Blade lock the hard mode away from you until you beat the game again. It's like, oh, well, it's for the story. It's like, yeah, well, I can have the story and the challenge, and it just be better for me, a better experience. So I'm not beating the game. Like, I beat it all of Pragmata in 20 hours, collected everything, and hell, even did like the after game content, which was like an extra 5-ish hours slapped on that. It's like if I feel like I'm blasting through the game, like, and there's no such thing as a bad build. Like any build works because you play on. I think there's a story mode and a standard mode. Like you play on standard mode and just whoop ass. And the point of the game is the interesting combat style above the story, but that's that game. Like, yeah, a game like this, I doubt there's really any challenge. And there's this idea that games had to be easy when I grew up. Like in the first Bioshock. It doesn't matter how many times you died to that big daddy, if you just kept whacking him, you'll eventually kill him. And there was just no downfall. It's like, okay, you die, get sent back, just keep whacking away at him. And then a lot of games sucked this up. And again, these are action games where the point is to be grading. The point is to have some level of friction, but they want it to be easy. Games like this, they're not even really video games. Like, what is the challenge here? Just based off what I'm seeing. Like, he hasn't talked about any type of mechanics. He's just talking about, oh, well, this resonates to me. This fucking face, though. Resonated to me. Oh, shit. Secret Handshake QTE. Okay, another game I haven't heard of. The fuck? But I don't want simple. Like, simple is boring. So people who want simple just have given up. They just want okay. Like I want. What's the opposite of cozy? Aggressive games. Like maybe that's just a genre I have, but the games like this do have a place, and I think like the Japanese know that because they make games like this that are better. I'm playing Neverness to Everness, which is effectively like an anomaly. Like think of SCP only with waifus. It also does this, and I think it does it with a better style, better characters that are actually interesting, in a better world. But again, I hate comparing games. Because it's like, okay, well, I want to judge the game off its own merit. But it's clear this game doesn't really have its own merit. Like, it's telling a story for sure, and it's trying to evoke like a emotion or a time period. But I just don't think it does it in the way I would like it. But that's fine. But to be a 10 out of 10, I mean, okay, I guess interaction like that is to me is fine. I mean, I don't really have a problem with that. You know, having some level, like, well, I mean, you would if you would show it, it'd be better. Again, I don't think he's trying to want to spoil it, but this is a review, and I get not, showing the music because yeah, copyright. But you have to let me see it, and not just your face. 3 hours. That's not really a game. You play it 3 times. Why? Do you get different choices? Like, or now I'm starting to hit doubt that you played it for 3 hours. And this is not realistic. One teenage dude with two teenage hot looking women. My dude is bricked up. And there's a reason why, again, you're saying it's realistic, right? There's a reason why if you ask a girl out and she says no, you try to just not really interact with them anymore. Not only because the fact that they turned you down, it's like, look, I mean, my hormones are raging. I'm a teenager. If I stay around you, that feeling's not going to go away, and it's just going to be awkward. So it's like the best thing to do is to just fuck off. I'm doing us both a favor here. I mean, we can deny reality if we want. We can deny how human beings act. But again, I'm seeing this. This doesn't seem realistic to me. Like, I guess the point isn't really like that type of relationship. But in this time period and what they're trying to evoke, that's not realistic. But I mean, I guess if they're like childhood friends, that makes sense. But even still, uh, Nah, that dude just seems like a douchebag. Like, you do this, you're an asshole. Which is fine if you're trying to invoke that, but he's not trying to invoke that. Or at least not in this game. Nah, that's cringe. No one compares themselves to songs. Like, come the fuck on, man. Like, maybe you do that in your head, and you're like, yeah, I really gel with this song. But me, like, I'd play, like, fucking Gears of War when listening to, like, Avenged Sevenfold. Like, I more appeal the song to the situation. But now that's just cringe. I mean, I guess the game doesn't look all that bad. It's just that odd art style that really isn't for me, really. I mean, I feel like Life is Strange just has a better art style. It's like this odd stutter that happens with the characters whenever they move. Maybe that's part of it. But then when that car moving is just, you know, clear, but everyone else awkwardly stutters. Yeah, asshole. Oh, he's drunk. Okay, he's drunk, but still, you don't just be drunk and be doing that shit, bro. What the fuck? Well, you need a style to stamp down on because that just makes people feel like, you know, okay, that's your identity. If you just throw a bunch of styles together, I mean, I guess that's the point. But I mean, we could always use the oh well, that's the point as an excuse. But you really just need to tap down on your own. And if it hits, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Or I guess I'm assuming depending on the music or the situation, it changes. But I don't know, that just seems weird, like some woo woo third eye weird bull crap. Which I guess is maybe the point, but uh, yeah, but I mean, I guess to me that's not really a good thing. I mean, the point is kind of growing up. Like, you view things with a completely different mindset when you're older than when you're a teenager or when you're younger. I feel like with games, that should be the point. Like, okay, what made like SpongeBob good? Well, because there's a lot of references that maybe as a child you didn't get, but as an adult you absolutely got. And it's timeless. Like to this day, they're funny not because you're reminded of when you're young and you told those jokes. No, because the jokes are just funny, right? Like the game should just be good, regardless of when you play it. It shouldn't be like, oh, we're trying to invoke a time when you weren't old and crusty and hating everything and taxed to all hell. You're just supposed to be a good game, like something that is worth people's money. And this is why people watch IGN. Like, they want to know if the game they're playing or if the game that you review is worth the money. But people see this trend where IGN will give higher scores to games that are just bad, and the market agrees is bad. But games like Black Myth Wukong or Stellar Blade, where the market actually likes, they give lower scores. It's like if you're trying to be actively antagonistic to the market, I mean, you're not gonna win. Like, I guess you get clicks. Like, I guess you're content brained, and any publicity is good publicity. But when I see a 10 out of 10, I'm like, oh wow, is the game really that fucking bad? If IGA gives it a 10 out of 10, like, I've effectively just flipped my, like, what it is. A 10 out of 10 equals bad game, or like a 7 or a 6, or God forbid a 5 is probably a good game. Yeah, look, like, a 10 out of 10 for a game that you probably never fucking heard of, that's wild. Like, what are the type of fucking games do you want people to play or want people to buy? Because, and this is the thing, IGN does want to be, the voice to turn people towards games. That people do look to IGN and look to these, surprisingly, for where they spend their money and their time. But if you're going to do this, give a game no one heard of a 10 out of 10. But games everyone heard of because everyone actually fucking played them, like Black Myth Wukong, a 7, right? You're going to have an issue. Like, I get it. Maybe this is the opinion of this particular guy, but no one wants fucking opinions. They want to know, okay, what is the good, what is the bad. I don't think a single bad thing came out of this guy's mouth about this game, so it just must be bad. Oh, okay, so they're gonna talk about it. All right. Well, and here's the problem with their scale. Because they said, oh, well, the games that are like twos or threes, a lot of them we just don't review and there's no point. And it's like, well, then I guess the problem is your grading scale. Like, and it's not that, it's the fact that you've given lower scores to objectively better games. And if they have to explain this, then there's an issue. Like, stand behind it. Like, don't have this. Because I was about to just quit it after 9. I'm like, okay. Alright, makes sense. Which doesn't make sense. Like, the problem, the reason why I didn't like this game is I could call like, I called who the villain was because they tried to red herring, and it's like, there's no way that is. Like, these are communists. There's no way that this is the villain, and I was right. I mean, and that was fine. I mean, older Overwatch, like in like 2019, I think was better, but whatever. Well, again, it shouldn't be the peak of what it's doing. I think it should just define a genre. Yeah, again, I mean, that's going to be more difficult because you're standing on the shoulders of titans. But as we've seen, IGN doesn't really care for when good games, legitimately good games, come out. Like, a lot of people just think they're filleting either the consultants in these companies or the major companies. That's the problem. Is people think you're compromised, IGN. I don't give a fuck if a game sinks to your heart. I want to know if it's worth the money I'm paying. And again, for all I know, maybe mixtape is, but I I doubt it because those are just not the type of games I care about. Like, I don't care for visual, not like games like that are walking simulators of just playing a teenage girl. Like, maybe that, you know, maybe that resonates with some people, but not many. Well, yeah, people know a 10 doesn't mean absolutely perfect, right? Okay, they have GTA 5. I agree. That's probably would be a 10 out of 10. People play that to this day and like whole YouTube careers. And I think even when GTA 6 comes out, people play it out of, you know, curiosity, then jump back to 5. Breath of the Wild, okay. I mean, it evokes back to when Zelda was good. It's gritty stuff. I mean, it's more cartoonish, but I miss like the gritty early 1990s style, 80s style of it. The Last of Us, okay, the first ones are, I can agree. It wouldn't be a 10 out of 10 for me, but it'd be a good game. God of War Ragnarok is weird because, I mean, this idea that Kratos has changed and matured, it's like he's not an actual person. He's a video game character. Like, he's fictional. Like, do fictional characters need to mature and change? I think no, because it's like, okay, what the fuck is the new generation gonna play? I know it's unfair, but the God of War franchise is a product. It is art and fantasy. And if the new generation can't play that, then what can they play? Well, I mean, they're going to be playing games like Pragmata or games like gotcha games, but you don't want them to play that either. But oh, okay, I did it again. Yeah, I can agree. Elden Ring is a 10 out of 10 game. Like, it is absolutely what people wanted in a Souls like that's more open world. It had an 80% player retention on its DLC a couple years later. Yeah, but because then you reach the problem where you're throwing 10 out of 10s around. But it's like, of say those games, how many games do you think actually exist and come out that year? Probably thousands of games you never heard of, shovelware, mobile games, obscure games. And out of all of that, of the thousands, like one or two or 10 out of 10, I think is reasonable. You know, and some games are good because everything else is bad. I think that's where Stellar Blade sits with me, like Pragma. Like these are games that are good because everything else that came out, like mainstream IPs that came out those same years, are just terrible, are bad, and because of that, it's like okay, there's this new benchmark, and these games surpassed it. But is that a game? Is that a video game that requires interaction, the human output, or is it effectively a music video or a movie? Because I don't want to play that. I don't want to play something that plays itself. I want to interact with it to move it forward. That's what I'm trying to say. Again, all those being walking simulators that are effectively so easy a child can play them. That's a 10 out of 10 for you. Like, maybe you just have a completely warped standard of what a video game is, and that's fine. But again, you're working for fucking IGN for God's sakes. You're getting paid to do this. Like maybe you just want the easy games because it's an easy paycheck, but people are just making fun of you now, and people always made fun of IGN. What? See, and this is why I'm hating this, right? I need to stop pausing and have them get done. I think gameplay is king in any game, right? Period. I mean, in a perfect world, you can have both good gameplay and story. But sometimes, like, it's just, and depending on the game, the gameplay, you just enjoy the gameplay so much that even if it has like a story made by a 12-year-old, graphics made in like I don't know PlayStation 1 era, if the gameplay is so damn good and feels so good, those are just the type of games that I resonate with better. Good gameplay can pull any type of game up. But I mean, and bad gameplay can legitimately ruin a game. Like, look at Dragon Age Veilguard. Like, there is no gameplay per se. It's garbage. Like, you occasionally press a button when an ability when it comes off cooldown. None of your people can die, so you can effectively just dodge and eventually kill everything. I mean, and I'm looking at even older games like that had barely any story but damn good gameplay. Like Fear 1, I think, has just the best gameplay. I'd say it's pretty good. I play Overlord. I mean, and then this is just my opinion, but I think you just look at newer games that came out that have damn good gameplay and maybe, an alright story that keeps you guessing. And I think that's true more than it is false if you just look at all the games I'm talking about. Like Helldivers, as shit as Helldivers has become now because the developers keep fucking with everything. It has amazing gameplay. Not really that much of a story if you did. At least that they tell you. It leaves you a lot to think about it. But people want your reviews on games. I don't care about books or TV shows or albums or none of that. You're reviewing a fucking game. I think they're cringe because I'm grown. Like coming of age stories. I mean, I just like a lot of like sci-fi and fantasy. And I mean, what's the sci-fi coming of age? Like, I know there's like there's show called Capricorn. It's them trying to hop off of Battlestar Galactica, but they tried making it more of a teen drama. You know, that age where everything had to be a teen drama. I mean, I guess to an extent it is, and it's more sci-fi. I didn't really. I mean, it looked interesting, but it was bad, and everyone agreed it was just bad. I'm trying to think of another one. I don't know. Got him. But why? I mean, you can make better memories now that you're older. Like, I hated being younger because no one fucking cared what you had to say. You know, people wrote you off, but they can't do that now that you're an adult. Like, I don't understand this idea of just not growing up. And what the fuck does this got to do with the game? Yeah, me. Well, you can do this in a way where I can like it, like Nikkei Gasa Victory does. Like you can have walking simulator, games that play themselves that appeal to me. It's just I'm looking at this and it doesn't. Like I'm looking at the style, right, and it doesn't appeal to me. Visuals, good visuals, hot characters, hot female characters will do it every single fucking time. Because everything else can be bad. But it's like, okay, maybe I didn't waste my fucking time because there's waifus on the screen. I can like it from that. I mean, it's a visual medium. You're gonna tell me the visuals don't fucking matter? Like, yeah. I mean, at least this guy's asking good questions here. He's like, yeah, but if it's being like, oh, press a button or a QTE, it's like, that's not really something, right? There's a lot of like QTE heavy games that's like, oh, hey, guess what? You gotta do some interaction. It's like, oh, okay. Now I gotta press a couple buttons here, and then there's a 5 hour cutscene. Oh, I gotta press a couple more buttons. Another 5 hour cutscene. Like the Death Stranding type of deal. You know, and you probably don't have to do it. Yeah, but those just bad gaming, really. It's like, okay, you press a button. Congratulations. Woo! You press the button. Cool. It's still technically a cutscene, I suppose. Like maybe there's a little bit of interaction, but is that like game interaction or oh hey guess what? Now you're here, don't fall asleep yet interaction. Gay. Yeah, I mean the QTs with this game were along with the combat and the visuals and all that. I mean, as all the faults The Last of Us 2 had, it did look good as a game. It had interesting, gritty combat. It's just it wasn't a zombie. It was less of a zombie game, or I guess there are different types of zombies than anything else. No, it doesn't. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, again, like 10 out of 10 for a game. And you gotta take this into consideration, right? Like, you're a major game publication that makes reviews. you gotta take into consideration, okay, what is the market perception of games like these? And I have not heard of mixtape outside of the one review. So a 10 out of 10 for a game I barely heard of is sus, to say it likely. You know the game's going to get a high score with IGN when very little of the review talks about the actual gameplay. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like, no, what about the gameplay? Are we dead ass? Yes. IGN rates this game higher than Resident Evil 9. I'm convinced IGN's new business model has put out ridiculous reviews for engagement. Well, it's working. No cheese mentioned. 10 out of 10, yeah. You know the last review about that mouse for hire PI when I'm talking about it? Yeah. And giving it a bat like an 8 or 7 out of 10. Man, game devs should fear IGN at this point. The moment you get a good rating of your company, risk bankruptcy. Yeah, and exactly. It's like, oh, you rate this high, it must just be a bad game. 10 equals no gameplay. Below 10 equals has gameplay. Thanks for the criteria. The H in IGN stands for honesty. Facts. Thank you. I'm gonna take that. We got paid 10 out of 10. So this is 10 out of 10 nowadays. A masterpiece. No cheese, I guess. Press X for flip trick. Wow, that's gameplay. Exactly. You press one button and it does a thing. I gave Toast Simulator a 10 out of 10 because I wanted a toast. IGN. Nowadays, we review IGN reviews. Facts! Oh my god, yes. Free flowing at 12 FPS. Yeah, they really did look like they were. Everything else was going at like 60, but they're going at 12. Of course, IGN loves it. It's a game you literally can't fail at playing. Short pockets of fun, 10 out of 10. In other words, he said, it panders to my mental illness, therefore 10 out of 10. IGN makes sense. Skip the review, came for the comments. Well, brother, you're coming for better content than this review. I can tell you that. 10 out of 10 game with no gameplay. Make it make sense. They don't want games. They want walking simulators. Watching IGN do this to themselves is really satisfying. They're not for the gaming community. A 10 out of 10 masterpiece, really? Are you kidding? You're kidding, right? IGN reviewer. I barely stepped on a skateboard. Yeah. Bro, we can tell. Every single person at IGN needs to be fired. Just like, what do they even do, really? This game is the mental state of IGN. It's not a biological 10, but it identifies as a 10. Fact. But anyway, a fucking 10 out of 10. Wow. That's something. For a game that isn't even a game. I give your review a 10 out of 10 for just being bad. You know, this is peak IGN. This is what people expect. So 10 out of 10 IGN. You did it. But anyway, that's all I got to say about this. Peace.